Introducing Nose to Tail, a podcast where we explore the world of aviation lifecycle solutions, insights, and more. Presented by Jet Midwest.
Welcome back, everybody, to Nose to Tail. I'm Patrick Kraus with Jet Midwest. I'm here with Jeff and Gabriel. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Jeff, I guess I'll start with you. Maybe you give us a little bit of background of why you and Gabriel are here and maybe a little about what you guys are doing these days.
Well, we've been doing engine disassemblies for Jet Midwest. We're happy to have you guys as a customer. So it's been working well for us. We sound like it's working well for you. So we hope we can continue to go forward.
Nice. So now, Gabriel, you've been at Bonus Tech for a little over 10 years.
Yeah, going on 12 now.
So tell me a little bit about what your role has started as, or maybe what it started as and what it's transitioned to at this point.
Started off as a tagger, inspector for the parts. From there, I went to customer support, HR, purchasing, coordinator, and now transitioning to production manager.
Nice. Now, is there one of those in particular that you wouldn't go back and do again?
I don't mind HR too much, but it does take a lot of time and a lot of finesse. So
that is
a lot of breathing.
Way to put it.
Yeah.
Finesse. I like that. I like that a lot. I went through the same happenstance. We had turnover with our head of our HR maybe about 18 months ago, and I had to wear that hat for a solid 6 months. So
you don't miss it.
I have a lot of empathy, and I found a great human being to replace me, which was the best decision that I've made in a really long time. So now, prior to being at Bonus Tech, I just was on checking out some history on you. You were on the nuclear side.
Correct. I worked for FBO for Bechtel, contracted in.
What was the biggest maybe benefit of coming out of a different type of industry into aviation?
Interesting, because I didn't realize that during working at the plant, there would be a low pressure turbine, high pressure turbine, diffuser, condenser, things that we find on the planes, or in the engines in this case. The safety side on their end was super strict. Obviously with us, it's not as much because it's not, radioactive, but it is interesting. And it was a good transition.
Yeah, very nice. Now, who was it that actually searched you out and found you, or how did you make that transition?
The production manager before me, Julio Pozo, he was a friend of mine for many years. He had a job opportunity open, and he thought my expertise in computers and other stuff that I can do would help, and I came in.
That's awesome. It's amazing how just the networking we do in our lives, and sometimes not even just in our career, but the place in our lives, how those things come to help benefit us throughout all of our lives.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Jeff, maybe tell us a little bit of your journey with Bonus Tech.
Mine's a long journey. Basically, I've been working in Miami. I started out working for George Batchelor in international air leases way back when. Started in 86 and ended up in 96. Left him after he had a heart attack and things were starting looking a little shaky. Started doing a little bore scoping for on demand out there in the world. Had to live on the road a little too much. A friend of mine at Kellstrom Industries asked me if I'm ready to come back and go to work in a full-time job. And I said, yes. So I started at Kellstrom, stayed with Kellstrom until like the second or third layoff. And then once I got laid off from there, it was like, can I go work for someone else or do I start my own thing? So that's when we started Bonus Tech doing disassemblies and took off from there.
That's awesome. We were talking just a few minutes ago. We happen to be sitting in the ex-TWA overhaul base here in Kansas City, and converted an old back office, right? And but you were telling some stories about some motors that you guys had worked through some purchases on with TWA. Maybe you can give us a little flavor of what happened here before.
First one was a JT97A that was coming back from lease. And it was put from TWA to Kellstrom Industries. And we had to run it through the test cell. And I had to come out here during the process and watch it go through the test cell and make sure it was ready to go and serviceable for the next lesser. So I did that with the JT90-7A. And then later on, we actually ran a JT90-7R4D through repair. I couldn't say overhaul, but through a heavy repair. And that was interesting. I was out here for quite a while. And that was in the later parts of TWA, which was, I told you earlier, was kind of interesting with the union and everything. And TWA was not looking too good at that time, but they were trying to maintain the repair business without affecting the airline,
Yeah, absolutely. It was, when I very first moved to the base, we still had some legacy TWA folks that were in the building that worked for us. And I got to hear lots of stories about their careers, how things had changed at the base. And there certainly were some stories there where at the end it was pretty rough. And then even when American came in, you have two different cultures clashing at the same time. certainly behave differently from a business model standpoint. So I could see that. But I know in their heyday, I think they were close to 300 narrow body engines going through the overall shop, plus another 80 wide body engines. So I think there's some quite large capacity that was over in the engine shop, and that's been a pretty cool place to be able to take over that and regenerate it, put an MRO back in there, although we're doing different things than that.
A lot of different things.
Yeah. Jet Midwest is not, we don't fear just trying something new.
No,
Why not?
Give it a go.
What the heck? We're going to buy spaceships at some point. Anyway, so it certainly was an American TWA culture was something different. And then obviously Jet Midwest comes in and we take on just about anything. So that's pretty awesome.
Impressive,
Yeah. Let's talk about capacity and what we're doing today. I think we could dovetail that into what we're going to head towards if there's a new product we're going to be coming down the pipeline. So what do we have for capacity right now on an annualized basis?
We're saying maybe running 50% of capacity, maybe 60, 65 right now. We could take a lot more engines on than we are. Of course, we're always looking at possibly getting into newer types of engines as they come due. That's part of being part of the KLM Air France. We got into GE90s through Air France. We were working the ADEs because that was KLM's engine at the time. So we're looking to see when the next group of engines, the GNXs or some of the LEAP engines or whatever, we can start tearing those down next. They always tell me, you're not going to get those for a long time yet because they're not going to go for teardown. Well, teardowns come quicker than you realize once things start rolling,
So from a quantity of engines, maybe you can give the viewers maybe a perspective on how many motors you're putting through on maybe a monthly basis.
14, roughly, give or take.
That's pretty busy.
That's not that bad, but never as busy as we like to be, as they like to say. Always a business of more.
Yeah, that's very true. And I'm guessing that it's a reverse manufacturing process, right? You're disassembling, and for all those out there, Jet Midwest uses bonus tech for all types of motors, and I know that our team in our warehouse loves the product you deliver. Your tags are impeccable. Everything's perfect and protected. And the crating that comes in for all of the customized items, every disc is in its own crate. And even the larger crates that have maybe multitudes of items in them that are smaller and lightweight, always managed very, very well. We don't have any issues with the packaging that comes in, which makes our lives really easy. In fact, we spot audit the inventory when it comes in. All of the discs will go through full audit, but the balance of the inventory goes through a spot audit. And then we just load the inventory as you guys have given it to us because it's so accurate. So I can definitely say thank you from all of my team downstairs for the quality product you guys are putting out. With the engine marketplace, I have noticed certainly there's been an increased demand in on-wing engines and an increased turn time in some of the product lines in the shop. And you guys are, I guess, part of that solution for the in-shop, right? Helping that supply chain. What have you guys seen in terms of trends maybe in what's happening in the engine market?
Well, look, at when we first got started, we would bring an engine in for teardown. We would tear down the engine. We would tag the engine, and we would pack the engine, and we would ship the engine. That was it. It was a standard process, boom, 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 follow line. Now it's completely changed at the part in the middle. We tear down an engine, sure, no problem. We tag the engine, and then we sit on the engine now. We send the list off to the customer. The customer comes up with a disposition. What do they want drop shipped? What do they want returned? Now they don't want to send all this stuff back, so they might want to scrap on site, or they want to have their scrap and their good stuff segregated before it gets back to them. And that's really changed our process a lot. We've had to adapt, and like everybody does, we've had to change the speed of what we do things
and offer different services. Now we're having to do inventory prior to the engine dismantling because they're like, what do we have? We want to get it out. So we had to tell them ahead of time, hey, we got these items on there. All right, take those off, tag them, ship them. They got to go out now. So it's gone a little quicker towards the repair side.
Yeah, I could certainly say from a supply chain management, Jet Midwest is managing an awful lot of material. And we love the ability to expedite that out of there. We're actually modeling that same service when we turn down aircraft. We go into the aircraft, do some operational checks, and then come out with this hot list of 50, 150, 300 items, 600 items. We grow that capability, and then we drive those into the marketplace. And we're trying to sell them as quickly as we can, obviously, to shorten the span of time of money. And then we're also, at the same time, sending a lot of those into the supply chain for repair and overhaul because our customers already have demands. We've got orders waiting. So it's nice to be able to kind of reach in there and pluck out those expensive items, especially first. Those definitely help out.
Yeah, we get a lot of requests as soon as before even the engine arrives. Hey, we're gonna send you a priority wish list prior to the engine starting. Right. Engine shows up, gets inducted. Are those items ready yet? We haven't turned the wrenches yet, but we'll get them done by the end of the day, hopefully. So it is more impactful.
And I think we find it's all that need, but also MRO turn time.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. That their MRO turn times are extended out so much that they got to get the parts to the MRO as fast as they can.
And they got better since COVID, but still takes time. So the sooner the items go in, the sooner eventually they come back. So faster in, faster out.
Yeah. You know, I've also noticed because of that slow time period at some of those engine MROs, I've noticed some aircraft that, we pursue purchasing the aircraft, right? And a lot of the aircraft that are in a flying zone to be pulled out of service and maybe dismantled or go on to their second life. The leasing companies, a lot of them are saying, you know what, we've already sold the engines. We're going to pull these aircraft out at 8 or 9 or 10 years instead of 14, 15, 16. Yes. They're pulling them out sooner. So they can get those engines back out on lease while the rates are high.
Yeah.
And then that also causes another problem, which is no one wants an airframe with no engines.
Right.
Yeah. So what's happening is that goes into guys like me, and then I tear it down and it's gone. Now we've lost an aircraft capacity. Mm-hmm. We've lost lift capacity, and they're trying to manufacture capacity, which is also a long lead time for those type of things. So maybe some layer of cascading challenges there between the engines and the airplanes. And really is the shop MRO lead times. How are they going to recover from that? If there is a recovery, or is just the new norm?
I would hope it recovers as they get people trained up. I mean, we lost a lot of experience after COVID. A lot of the old timers said to heck with it, and they said they're not going to work anymore. And so we lost a lot of the guys that would have stayed on maybe a few more years and trained some people going forward. And then the airlines didn't know when they were going to go back to air. So they got rid of a lot of the older guys that were close, like they give them packages to retire. So I think we lost a lot of experience, and it's going to take time to get the people back up to speed and the experience back up to where it was, and to where we can get the turn times back where they were.
From an operational standpoint, you obviously have as partners with Air France and KLM, right? So you have access to a lot of tooling and manuals and those type of things. I'm always curious on the tooling side, how much of that you guys actually do on your own. I had some meetings with Air France a couple of months ago on a maintenance project, and they had actually taken and created a better tool than the OEM's design, and they were sharing some of those details with us. And I wonder how much of that you guys are doing that's really making your lives better. Or do you have clients that just demand, hey, I need you to use the OEM preferred?
It's a hit and miss. It depends on the customer pertaining to the engine configuration or type, but it's like half and half.
But they've given us some of their little secrets that we found this works better. Use this when you're tearing this down, especially on like the GE90s and stuff like that. And in the CFMs, we've got some help on, taking out some of the parts on the CFM. So they give us some background. We have our CEO is from Air France. So he's always feeding us stuff from the shops over in Paris. It helps. It helps us out a lot.
Especially when they're willing to come over and give us a lot of the training or tooling, especially with their specialties over there. It helps a lot.
The GE90, they trained us on the GE90.
Specifically, they brought people over and sat there for like a month and change.
Yeah. And
it made a huge world of difference.
Well, it's certainly great to have great partners, and certainly them having their own shops. Yeah. They've got a lot of expertise. So what a fantastic result to be able to have your partners come in and help you with the training and tooling, because it obviously benefits them, right? Those parts.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I tear down a GE90, many of those parts are going to end up in the Air France shop doing builds there anyway. Yeah. So it is a win-win, certainly for you guys.
Mm-hmm. We'll continue this discussion on the next episode of Nose to Tail, a podcast presented by Jet Midwest. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to our channel.